welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber ya boy Chano, and this is Jeskai Wizards. The blue-white or blue-white X control shell has existed in Magic and in Legacy as long as the game and the format have existed. Going all the way back to the earliest days, Counterspell, Swords of Plowshares, and Wrath of God in a deck with a bunch of plains and islands. That was a deck. Today, it's quite a bit more nuanced than that, because cards are better. You can't just sit back on answers and then win somehow. You need to be doing some of your own proactive stuff. And that brings us to the Wizard Core, which exists at the middle of otherwise the cards you'd expect. We've got Plow, Brainstorm, Ponder, Force of Will, a little Teferi, a Sweeper, some more spot removal, some generic stuff that lines up against the format. License Hearse, little meta choice there, and a flex slot. All of that stuff is normal. Wouldn't look very different 5 years ago or 10 years ago. However, Tamiyo, this is what Legacy is about right now. All the best decks are utilizing Tamiyo or have means to ignore Tamiyo completely. But this is the core of what Legacy is about, and we get to play it. 4 of them, alongside 4 Flame of Venor. Tamiyo is a wizard, which turns on Flame of Venor, which is getting played in every format it's legal, which is awesome. This is just like a card that is very nice to look at and nice to cast in games. To flesh out the Wizards package, 4 Thundertrap Trainer, borrowed this from Vintage staple Thundertrap Trainer. I didn't expect to say that off the spoiler, but it's been close to a year now, and it's definitely true. Snapcaster Mage, the most classic, famous Legacy wizard, and even Magus of the Moon has a little wizard subtype in addition to being a Blood Moon. This deck still does the blue-white thing of rock solid mana. We've got 7 basic lands in this deck. Really good spread of answers. We can answer things on the stack. Minor Misstep, I think, is really good in the format right now. I've seen this popping up in a lot of lists lately. Counters Entomb and Reanimate anytime. Tamiyo anytime. Swords of Plowshares anytime. Nomads in Core anytime. Like the Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm kind of stuff you can get around eventually. Daze you get around eventually. Minor Misstep is really good when the format's balanced around 1 drops. And then while we're doing all these great answers, we also have some pretty scary threats. The Tamiyo threatens to bury your opponent. Thundertrap Trainer threatens to bury your opponent. And we just get nice value along the way with all of that. This is one of 2 Jeskai control decks in Legacy that I'm going to release this week. The other one is quite a bit weirder. It was more of a brew, doing some experimental stuff. But I think Wizards is the agreed upon stock build of Jeskai control right now. If you want to be playing these sort of cards with this sort of mana base in Legacy, this is how you do it. Let's get after it. This is Jeskai Wizards. I'm on the play in round 1 with the nuts. I'll keep Tamiyo with Force Backup. That's what we signed up for. This mana base was 7 basics. It gives and it takes. There are things that are good about this, and there are things that are terrible. Like getting your 2nd white online, pretty important. Ooh, we've got a Force of Will on Tamiyo. Their life total changed. Force pitching Ponder. What does this mean? I think this means I'm going to force back. If they're that scared of that thing, I want to push it through. Anyway, the mana. I'm not going to get wastelanded very effectively in most of these games. Like, that's probably just true. But I also might be unable to cast my spells sometimes. Like right now I have to decide, do I want to turn on Flame of Venor or have white? And white's pretty important. I am going to delay that decision as long as I can. Minor Misstep's actually a big deal here. That helps me fend off a Brainstorm. If they break serve here and their Tamiyo on the draw flips before my Tamiyo on the play does, they're ahead. I suspect this is Dimir Tempo. I don't think Dimir Reanimator would use a Force of Will as aggressively as they did on something that isn't protecting their own Entomb. Thoughtseize, huh? Well, I'll counter that. All right, another one. Well, we're both low on resources here. My Tameo gets to activate first, but I did just lose my ability to delete theirs. Yeah, alright. We're back, baby. Attack with Tameo. And smash this. They would have to force blue card to protect. Daze isn't going to get me here. There's no Brainstorm in response because they don't have the mana. Alright, shipping it. I could have cracked a clue on my turn to play around Bowmaster. I don't think that's that important. Alright, another Tameo. The Re-Tameo. I am going to draw a card here. If they have Bowmaster, it doesn't kill Tameo. Like, it's annoying, but sure. Another one. Alright, attack with Tameo. This time they can, if they have a Brainstorm in their hand, save their Tameo. But they also probably would have cast it on their turn if they had it. I'm just going to go for it. Fetch in response. I suspect they're going to crack their clue and then try to hit force blue card off it. Or just do nothing. Sure, that's fine. You're cracking a clue. I'm not going to crack mine. I've made my decision that I'm not going to respect Bowmaster here. If they have two Bowmasters in hand, this is a blowout, but that would be crazy. I drew a Spell Pierce. They've not killed Tameo yet. Go get him, lady. They could jump in Brazen Borrower and try to block. I have Plow for that. Alright, I'm going to try to hit my land and flip Tameo here. No love. Alright. Undercity Sewer, smoothing it out over there for them. I don't expect the Spell Pierce to get a lot of action if this is just a mere tempo. Brainstorm. I'm glad that showed up after the two Tameos are gone. It's cool that it's turn 5 and we've seen 13 cards of their deck and I still don't know what deck they're playing. That's one of the more frustrating things about this format we've got. Alright, the third Tameo. Keep them coming. Okay, I can beat a Brainstorm here. The Flame. Alright, Tameo, Swords of Plowshares up front. Wow, alright, I don't beat Force of Will here. Alright, I can't Spell Pierce that. I can bank a clue and then cast Thunder Trap Trainer. If they're currently empty, I think I'd rather look at 4 cards and try to hit a Brainstorm Ponder to find my land than draw one random card. Okay, Brainstorm's face up. They know about it. Check. Kaito's insane here. Ponder guarantees Tameo flips if they want it to, because the clue is in the bank. Shuffled. Good sign. And we're flipping mid-combat. Okay, so they have a Tameo who is ready to... They got the first activation. I have 2 Prismatic Endings in my graveyard. Blue-black, not historically great at dealing with a flipped Tameo. Another one. I don't think I want a 4th Aerolingus here. I'm going to attack with Tameo and then cast Brainstorm. Alright, Brainstorm. Can we find a land? Alright, we found 3 lands. I'll take them. I don't need all of them. I'm going to put back Scalding Tarn and... Is this Spell Pierce helping me anymore? I could hide 4th Aerolingus on top of my deck. I could hide everything on top of my deck. I could go 4th Aerolingus, Flame of Anor. Yeah, I think that's actually fine. I don't want all 3 of these lands, but this protects me from the Thoughtseizes in their graveyards. And I could still just draw through these cards with the clues. Okay, I've got Prismatic Ending in the bin. They have to deal with that, or their Tameo's in trouble. It looks like they might just be ramming on Murktide here. I also have a Swords of Plowshares in the graveyard. Oh, a Petty Theft. That does reset my Tameo while leaving theirs intact, sure. This is in my hand. Now I kind of hope they do buy back Thoughtseize and try to strip the Tameo. But if they buy something back, Thunder Trap Trainer deals with it. If they play Murktide, buy back Force of Will, that's pretty good. Yeah, they left Thoughtseize in the graveyard, exiling the Force. And they're just plussing Tameo. Okay, 4th Aerolingus can be for 3, which gives me 3 1/2s attacking. That introduces the Monarch into a game where I'm not excited about it being introduced. Okay, I'm going to draw Flame of Anor, and then shuffle away the 4th Aerolingus. I think I'm just going to keep stacking up islands. Force of Will. Nice of you to arrive. Okay, so I can play Tameo, but not flip her. Or I could flip her, but Flame of Anor doesn't help much. I could just play Flame of Anor, 5 to Murktide, draw 2, see what my cards are. I've got in my list, 3 plows, 2 snapcasters that are useful here. Teferi, also pretty good. I think I want to play Tamiyo, though. All right. Tamiyo back. Fetch Mountain. And here's this awkward mana. Now, even if I draw Plow, I can't use it unless I want to tap out a Spell Pierce. But then I can't cast Ponder. And I'm just going to play like my best card is there. So I'm going to fetch Mountain. And I'll leave the Plains open. Target player draws 2, deal 5 to Murktide, which doesn't matter, but it's free. All right, I hit Dress Down. That doesn't help. If I left up the blue, I could have played other Tamiyo to block for a turn. Yeah, maybe I just fucked it here. But yeah, this is this mana base. You just have to decide what you're playing towards and live with the decision. Now it has to be Snapcaster. They do have to attack my Tamiyo, though, or theirs isn't going to work. Yep, Tamiyo's up to 8. They've got 2 cards in their hand. We need Snapcaster deck. Brainstorm. Well, that's a look for Snapcaster. I will take that look, and flipping Tamiyo here is not helpful, so Brainstorm it is. Yikes. Okay, all of that is bad. Magus of the Moon could make it hard for them to deploy the half of their deck they're about to draw, but they're going to have 11 power in play when we get to that point. Okay, I don't think Spell Pierce is helping me anymore, and we've missed the boat on Unlicensed Hearse. I'm going to fetch a Plains, and if I play Magus of the Moon and Tamiyo this turn, and I know they have basics in their deck, and they get to see half their deck to find them. All right, Magus of the Moon. Wow, what a reveal on the final turn of the game. It's turn 9. We've seen 21 cards out of their deck, and now we just found out what deck they're playing. It's fucked up. Okay, so they didn't flash in Brazen Borrower, and... Okay, wow. Not flashing in the Brazen Borrower is really surprising to me. And they know their hand better than I do, but strange. I don't think they're using all this red mana for anything. Okay, so what I need to do here is I need Tamiyo to miss on the basic swamp. All right, they get to bash me to 7. I'm not blocking with Tamiyo this turn. That might happen next turn. And there's the big bust. 21 cards in hand. I'm sure that's beatable. Please play a land that's not swamp. Shit. It was 50-50. All right, well, Forest pitching Dress Down. I'm sure they didn't draw a Force of Will. Yep, okay. This is going to resolve, which puts me to 3. I'll sacrifice Thundertrap Trainer and discard Tamiyo. And there are still Swords to Plowshares in my deck. I could Dress Down to survive next turn. They've used 3 Force of Wills so far. It's not looking good. Okay. I'm going to crack a clue. I'll play a land in order to crack a clue. There's no land here that's going to save me. I need a series of powerful white cards. I crack clue again. This will flip Tamiyo. Ponder. Plus Tamiyo. Cast Ponder. Shuffle. And there it goes. Another game determined by Tamiyo. I killed 3 of those things, and I still lost to their Tamiyo. I was on the play with my own turn 1 Tamiyo, killed their first 3 Tamiyos, and then they still beat me because they flipped Tamiyo first. Alright, Pyroblast coming in. Grafdigger's Cage. Some Surgicals. Not like a lot of this, but some of it. I really don't like Force of Will versus their deck. I don't like Magus of the Moon versus their deck either. It has cheese factor, but as we saw that game, there are plenty of spots where it just doesn't matter. The Unlicensed Hearse in the main is there as well. Wrath of the Skies can cover a creature plan, but I don't think I care about that. I have lots of answers to creatures. That's not my main concern. All right. Turn my bad interaction into good interaction and hit submit. One thing I could have done that game that I didn't do is they tapped for Murktide first on the turn they petty thefted my Tamiyo. And then when they did that, they told me what they were doing, basically. And then I still just didn't Spell Pierce their petty theft. Like, I could have tapped them out of Murktide, and then I'm dealing with 1 problem instead of 2. Like, I was losing that game to both half their deck and to the 8/8 that had me dead in 2 hits. I could have at least delayed one of those things. Ponder. I don't think I'm quite on the Pyroblast Ponder level versus Reanimator, though a lot of their important cards are black, so I could see it. Tamiyo is the one, obviously. You know, always thinking about Tamiyo. Tamiyo is the one thing that just having Pyroblast in your hand is really always good for. They did not shuffle Ponder. Prismatic Ending. Okay, I can brainstorm if I need to, or I can just chill. They did fetch Basic Island, which is good. I boarded out my Magus of the Moon, but they're still gonna play a little scared, and this will make their cards at least a little bit harder to cast. The Basic Swamp's here too. Alright, we played around that by boarding out Magus. Okay, this is the world's most obvious Bowmaster. I'm not a big fan of playing out a non-basic land here, but they might have boarded out some number of Wastelands. I'm not going to shove Teferi into Daze. Teferi's also terrible versus Bowmaster. You've got a Brainstorm. I think I want to... Do I want to Brainstorm in response here? I think I actually am going to use the Pyroblast here. If they kept a Ponder to set up basics and need that to move their game forward, that could just be an aggressive tempo thing. And now I have Prismatic Ending, which I didn't have 2 turns ago when I mentioned the Pyroblast being my answer to Tamiyo. They just rammed in Entomb. That resolves. Drax is in the bin. Sewer. Dumped a Wasteland. Even though I have a target for that, they don't believe in it as a plan, and I think they're correct. And if they see me miss a land drop here, they might change their tune, but right now, it doesn't seem very good to spend a whole turn wasting me, and then I just hit my next land drop. Okay, well, that's some pressure off. Now I don't need to worry about Counterspell on my Surgical. If they force this, that's great. Right, I am still not playing this Brainstorm into Bowmaster. If they play Bowmaster in the end step, I'll Brainstorm. We're dancing around it. Disappointing. I could Surgical Atraxa in response, which is redundant if the cage is going to hold, but I do get to see their hand here. Like, if their follow-up is Petty Theft Reanimate, I'd prefer to have this just gone. And I get to see if their hand has Bowmaster in it. It does not. They do have Tamiyo Brainstorm, though. Okay, Tamiyo, Brainstorm, Barrogoyf, Brazen Borrower, Archon. They drew their Archon. What's this sideboard plan look like? We've got 2 Barrogoyfs in the list, 3 Murktides, 4 Tamiyos, and they're just still on the full Entomb package. Okay. Makes sense to me. Okay, that happens. And then I'm going to Brainstorm. I know this works now. Okay. Flame of Enor and Prismatic Ending are both good. Taking Teferi is really good as well. Snap Pyroblast is something they have to respect. If my answer is at sorcery speed, that means they can hold up the Brainstorm and dance around it. I think I want to hide Flame Ending. No, I need Snapcaster and Ending to beat all their options here. I think Prismatic Ending's the most powerful one. Okay, I'm going to go Prismatic Ending to Fairy. Put those back. No, but I'd have to shuffle one of them away because I don't actually have 3 mana here. I thought I solved it. Okay, it's tough with Brainstorm when you have to put back the good cards and not the bad ones. Alright, I think I'm going to go Snapcaster, Prismatic Ending. Okay, your spell resolves. Oh, Snapcaster doesn't even work because I have Grafdigger's Cage in play. Yeah, it should have been Flame of Enor. That was messy. Did all that work to lose to myself. They took Teferi. My best case scenario here is if they just jam the Brainstorm immediately, knowing that the coast is clear at this moment. Of course, Brainstorm can change their hand, but I can deal with a Planeswalker. They would have to find exactly Force of Will here. It was smart of me to put the Snapcaster 2 back, because now I could just shuffle it away. Oy, oy, oy. Right, Tamiyo flips. I suspect this Archon's not in their hand anymore, but we can't be sure until later. Oh, another Thoughtseize. What are we worried about here? So for me to get cooked here, they would have to have brainstormed into Thoughtseize and Force of Will, which is, of course, possible. They took my trainer. That's probably correct. All right, I'll go to my turn, and we'll see if they drew Force. Prismatic and Tamiyo. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, Brazen Borrower is gone. Barrogoyf is on top of their deck right now. I guess all I can do is draw a card. Or draw 2 cards. All right, plains, and I think I have to get a mountain, or a non-basic mountain. I'm going to get Volcanic Island here. All right, target player draws 2 cards. Target me. Snapcaster Flame. I guess I know what they're drawing, and now I just played into Tamiyo Thoughtseize. I'm losing my mind here. I got thrown off by their not perfect brainstorm. Okay, their hand is Barrowgoyf right now. Yep, they're getting back Thoughtseize. I hope they forget about Cage and take my Snapcaster. Nothing could be done here. Shit, they didn't forget. Losing to my own hate piece. The classic Reanimator experience. That's a 5/6. I do have a deck full of Swords to Plowshares, though, and good cards, if I can just have one, maybe. All right, well, here's my land, and I can't really do anything. They drew an Archon of Cruelty. I guess this should probably just block. It's not doing anything else. And I don't want them to hit a second Barrowgoyf here or a Bowmaster or something that really buries me. A block. All right, deck. We're full of removal. We're full of cantrips. Can we have some of it? I'll take that guy. 1 mana short of what I really want to be doing here. Would I rather leave up double blue or double white? Or any amount of red? All right, I'll leave up double blue and single white. Dress down. All right, that's actually really good. I'll take dress down, and I'm going to pass. Dress down kills Barrowgoyf. They could use Tamiyo aggressively here, or sit back. Yeah, it makes sense to sit back. If they just plus Tamiyo, don't attack, next turn they can Thoughtseize. Oh, wow. I'll block. All right, yeah, I'll leave 1 damage on that. Doing it this way plays around them playing an instant and growing the Barrowgoyf. Shit, I should have done this main phase. Now my creatures are off on my turn. Messy, messy. There's a lot to keep track of in this deck that looks otherwise pretty simple. I think that attack was a giant spew, though. All right, Ponder. Well, I can't get Bowmastered. I played it well. I'm very smart. But I also can't play this Thundertrap Trainer. Okay, I'm going to go Flame, Trainer, Brainstorm, Don't Shuffle. And Brainstorm is just here in my hand. Yeah, if they had just waited, next turn, buy back Thoughtseize the Dress Down, and then the turn after that, Barrowgoyf is back online. It was available. They just didn't want it. Shuffled the Ponder. Great news. Tamiyo goes to Ultimate here. Bad news. Okay, I could just aggro Brainstorm here. That makes Bowmaster very good. But Bowmaster is going to be good no matter what. And I'm just like in check. I'm going to lose to this Tamiyo. There's nothing to be done here. I put back Tamiyo and Flame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exactly enough to kick it, but that's not helpful. Trainer with Offspring, or without Offspring. I'm looking for Prismatic Ending or Pyroblast. How about Plow and Swords to Plowshares? Best I can do. I'll take Swords to Plowshares. Flame of Anor. Target player draws 2 cards. Leaving up red-white. Oh my god. And we are again going to lose to Tamiyo. I'll play my own, which does not matter, and brace for death. Okay, I did not play this game well, which is really important to... Like, we were 1 card away, like a Prismatic Ending or a Pyroblast. There's 3 good hits in my deck here. Any of those basically fully stabilizes on that last turn, and I've done at least 2 plays this game that made me see 1 fewer card than I could have if I had played correctly. And you have to be dialed in on this, because there are decks in the format, like the one we're playing against now, that are pretty brainless and extremely powerful. And if you're going to play a deck that requires hard work, you have to play it perfectly. A Petty Theft. Okay. They'll have to brainstorm the Archon back into their deck, because Atrax is in exile. Yeah, okay. They drew half their deck. Are you surprised they had one of these? Yeah, so now they have to Entomb Reanimate with their last 2 mana, which I'm sure they can figure out. My goodness. They had the Entomb. And this Wasteland they binned on turn 3 or whatever that was. If they had wasted me at any point in this game up to right now, they wouldn't have had enough mana to do this line. So everything paying off. I'll sacrifice Trainer and discard Grafdigger's Cage. And I'll pretend somewhere in my brain that their hand doesn't have Force of Will in it. Thundertrap Trainer. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I have to just do this for one. Or for one guy. What if this was an X spell? That would be nice. They know about the Plow. Right, I did hit Pyroblast. I guess we're taking it. And all I can do now is hope that my stuff works. So Plow, Pyroblast, Clue. I could technically see one more card before we start this fight. So I will. Or I'll at least bank the card. I'll attack, make the Clue, and then cast Swords to Plowshares. Plow, Force, Pyroblast, Force, and now I'll draw a card. I'm looking for Plow or Pyroblast, but now Daze is on, and we've lost. Okay. I did not play the game perfectly, but that was 2 games in a row where the Tempo combo deck is also just the better control deck simply by nature of containing the card Tamiyo. Just miserable stuff. On to the next round. That was mostly good match, though. We did do a lot of back and forth stuff and have a lot of decisions. Unfortunately, all of the decisions were, how do I see the most cards to deal with Tamiyo? The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2 with the archetypal, typical blue-white control hand, where I have 4 answers, some lands to cast them, and I don't know what my plan actually is yet. Bloodstained Mire, Underground Sea. Cool. Tamiyo. I'm holding answers to that one. I think I'm just gonna Prismatic Ending right now. If they have Daze, I'm cooked regardless. Swords to Plowshares can help versus the other things in their deck. Yep, cool. Alright, that happened. The one consideration is, if they counter the Prismatic Ending and they have Brainstorm, then I would rather have Prismatic Ending to deal with Planeswalker Tamiyo. Okay, it's my turn now. Swords to Plowshares. I'm doing this now. Cool. I fetched to play my own Tamiyo, but it's way better to hold up Minor Misstep here. Wasteland, good luck. Tamiyo still holding up 2 counterspells. Bowmaster. Well, there's that one. I don't really want that one in play. I'm going to force pitching Ponder. I'm going to believe in the Minor Misstep. I'm going to misstep this. My read is that they're struggling, and if I can get Tamiyo going while they're struggling, that's great. It is more likely that their Tempo, if they have Bowmasters in the main, than their Reanimator. The Reanimator can, of course, play that card. It took, what, 13 turns and 25 cards last game to determine what my opponent was actually doing. Okay, they dazed the Minor Misstep just to hit their land drop this turn. Fatal Push. Alright, I'm fucked. Alright, Thundertrap Trainer. Ah, we did it. Shout it out, it's there. Okay, I'm gonna play the Mountain, because blue and white are the colors that I actually want to play Magic with. Spell Pierce, Dress Down. Dress Down's a cantrip, but Spell Pierce actually does stuff. Alright, I'll take Dress Down. Just drawing more cards seems like what's important to me right now. They drew a Swamp. Tamiyo. And we're back to this. Upkeep, correct their Clue, fine. Hey, there it is. Alright, Snapcaster, Prismatic Ending. End the Tamiyo. It has to be Force of Will here. And then they'd be Hellbent. Alright, don't Entomb Reanimate me. Alright, they know my hand. I can have 6 here. Brainstorm. Found a fetch land. Got a Surveil. Dump Nile Spellbomb. Another Nile. This is definitely Tempo. Alright. Nile Spellbomb showing up after Snapcaster did his job. Finally catching a break. Things are going my way a little bit here. I hate to jinx it. I'm going to Brainstorm before they're showing me a Bowmaster. Okay, Dress Down, and do I need a 5th land? Because the Trainer's about to clear the top cards. Alright, Prismatic Vista and Dress Down can go back in here. Digs. I think I'd rather have Prismatic Ending versus their deck. Murktide is the card I'm worried about right now. And none of those cards answered that one. The Dress Down could make it smaller on the way in, but I didn't have 2 mana to do that. Brainstorm. They'd have to come up with Island plus Murktide here. There it is. If they want it, it's there. Ponder. Okay, I'm not getting Murktide this turn. Okay, Bowmaster is live. I'm going to attack with everything and see if they want to take these beats. All right, I think I'm just going to pass. I'm not going to turn Bowmaster into Plague Wind for them, especially when my whole hand is instants. Tamiyo. Prismatic Ending or 1. Right, the Tamiyo died. It's so weird to cast my spell and it actually works. I have never experienced that before. My opponent's at 5. Something's happening in the end step. They're setting up Kaito. That's what's happening. All right, I'm going to Brainstorm right now while Bowmaster is not possible. And hell yeah. Okay. Put back to Fairy and Snapcaster. I'm going to let Brazen Borrow resolve, and then I'm going to Flame it. Target player draws 2, 5 to that thing. If the card in their hand is Kaito, this is going to be fine. If the card in their hand is Daze, then they don't have Kaito. Okay, so they have Daze. I don't think they know their top card. Did they know from this Ponder? Did they float a Kaito on top? Or they might have just been playing to their outs of, what if I draw Kaito? Here's the attack. It can't block anyway. Damn. All right, they did stack that up nice. I think I'm far enough ahead that this is still fine, but that was basically the perfect sequence. They dumped Ponder or Delta, didn't keep any of the cards on purpose. All right, I'm going to attack first. Attack Kaito. Anything they bounce here is bad for them. Right, Kaito's dead. My top card right now is Teferi, and I have access to Snap Flame of Anor. I'm just going to pass. I could also hardcast or pitchcast Force of Will from this position. Okay, we got away with that one. Some of the removal spells on Tamiyo is actually resolved, and that is a difference maker. I'm going to experiment with the mana denial, because I have 4 forces that have to come out, and I don't have any other things I'd want to bring in. So the Back to Basics gets the nod, and Magus of the Moon gets to stay. All right, let's do it. Maxing out on answers to Tamiyo. All right, I'll keep. It's missing white, but I have a good red spell. Ponder. That's not Tamiyo. It's allowed. All right, I've got one of these. I'm not playing around Daze. Tamiyo, important enough to push the issue. Sheoldred's Edict. I'll sack Tamiyo. Thanks for asking. Mountain Tamiyo. I will play around Daze on this Thundertrap Trainer. Also because Tamiyo's just the better card anyway. I think I'm saving this Pyroblast for Tamiyos and Murktides. Didn't shuffle. B-Storm. Still not fighting over that. Fatal Push. You got me. Pyroblasting that doesn't do very much. Oh my goodness. How about the third Tamiyo? Sewer. Kept the card. Scary. Another Goyf. That's really big, and I don't have any planes. Brainstorm. That card's really good, but also really risky. How ready am I to get cooked by Bowmaster? So active player, non-active player. If I cast Brainstorm right now, they can kill Tamiyo with Bowmaster. I think I'm just not interested in that happening. Thundertrap Trainer. Daze on the hard cast? Sure. Are they going to hard cast one and then bounce cast the other? Sure. It's a 2-for-1 either way. Okay. There's a Undercity Sewer and whatever card they just floated to the top in their hand right now. Tamiyo has created a clue. Even if she dies here, she'll be a long-term 2-for-1. Fatal Push. All right. Slugging it out. Oh, the card in their hand right now is Undercity Sewers. They cast Ponder and then played a different land. That means the coast is clear for me to draw cards. I should play this Tundra first, though. Okay. I kind of want most of this stuff. I'm going to put back Flame and Flooded Strand. All of these cards will be in my hand next turn. It mostly doesn't matter. Prismatic Ending, the Goyf. And I'll pass right now. What am I worried about happening? Hardcast Kaito? Alright, I'm actually going to draw a card now to get around Bowmaster. They did not play the Undercity Sewer we know is in their hand. Why not? Curious. Alright, my hand is all good cards right now. I don't need to take actions. There's no surveil land in this deck. There's the sewer. It's back. I have access to basic planes if I find one of my moons or basics. Back to basics. Another brainstorm. Still passing. They thought for a very long time in my end step before untapping. I don't know if I'm going to make anything out of that specifically. They missed their land drop. I've missed my last several land drops. So they know my whole hand of spells. I know their whole hand of spells. Though they did hold this Undercity Sewers for 2 extra turns. So I guess it's in their range to hold back lands. There's the land. Alright, if I'm hitting land drops, I'm not doing anything. Fetch in the end step. Basic Swamp is live. In Orcish Bowmasters. I'll brainstorm in response. Have they stacked up double Bowmaster for me? This is a sequence I would try to set up if I were them. I will brainstorm again in response to the second one, and then I'll plow this one. Minor misstep. Okay, I don't actually need this land. Minor misstep counters Thoughtseize and Tamiyo. Yeah, I don't think I'm worried about minor misstep, actually. Though I also am not ready to answer this first Bowmaster. I might get rid of Brainstorm. Okay, this one resolves. I'll plow it. I'm getting up planes anyway, so I'll do it now. And leave up better mana going into their turn. And there's another Brainstorm on the stack. And I'd like to see new cards. Okay, I don't want Plateau. And I want Thundertrap Trainer next turn, not this turn. I'll tuck that one underneath. And then Orcish Bowmaster resolves. They now have 3 power on the battlefield. This could also be Kaito, but I can Pyroblast a Kaito on my turn. Okay, I'm at 11. Tamiyo. This is one of the things I saved minor misstep for. Don't even want it to come into play. No thanks. Okay. I'm going to fetch for an island and play this Thundertrap Trainer. I'm not going to kick it into Daze. Or I'm around Daze, but I'm still not going to kick it. I got stuff to do here. Unlicensed Hearse, Wrath of the Skies. Plow. It's Plow for me. Because that turns on my Flame of Enor. Okay, passing the turn. I think right now, before they draw, I'm going to go I draw 2 and 5 to Orc Army. If they have the third Bowmaster, that sucks. But I still kill their 5/5 Orc Army at the end of the party. Or, no, the triggers would go on the stack. A 3/3 Orc Army would die. Cool. Hydroblast, Pyroblast. Opponent is now empty, and I am full. Okay, there's not a lot I'm worried about here. I can answer Barrogoyf, I can answer Tamiyo, I can answer Murktide. That was already a 3-for-1. It's gone, that's fine. Ponder, we'll start there. 4th Aer Lingus. Okay. This game is over. Don't shuffle. You do need one big stupid card in your deck that wins the game. And I found mine when the board is stable. I'm tapping all the way out for this. They're hellbent. Just slamming in. And they've had enough. Cool. This is a good matchup for Jeskai. These creature decks, these low to the ground, hope that Daze and Wasteland keep your opponent off balance long enough for your 1-drops to win the game. These sort of decks are not well suited for Swords to Plowshares decks with 7 basics, but they can get up under you, and or you can draw the wrong half of your deck. You could draw a bunch of Pyroblasts while you're losing to Orcish Bowmaster and Nethergoyf. They could have Murktide when you have Prismatic Ending. Like, it can go wrong, but if you're allowed to set up and do anything before you're already dead, these matchups are very positive. On to the next one.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 3. I'm going to keep. I have Force Blue card, a refill, and lands to play the game with. I'm into it. It's one more land than I'd really want, but I'm not going to get picky. Bonus on a mull to 5. Another Underground Sea. Nethergoyf. Okay, so Dimir tempo on a mull to 5 should be pretty positive for us if we don't just hurl it into the trash somehow. Right, I'm going to lead on Flooded Strand and pass. I have Wrath of the Skies now, which can clean up Nethergoyfs, Bowmasters, Tamios if they just try to curve out on me. B-Storm, that puts 1 point on the Nethergoyf. I would normally say these forces are terrible versus Dimir tempo, but on the mull to 5, like I'm up 3 cards, I can afford to go 2 for 1 against something. There's Tamio. I'm going to be a little greedy and try to catch that with Wrath of the Skies rather than force it. If I could get a 2 for 1 rather than get 2 for 1, that is, of course, better. If I'm real lucky, I'll even get the clue with it. Okay, I'm going to go Plains Island Thundertrap Trainer right now. Plains Island Thundertrap Trainer. If they daze me here, it's a daze they don't have next turn for Wrath. And if they don't daze me, I'm Thunder Trapping. Swords of Plowshare is my only choice. Snapcaster Tamio to the bottom. I think I have to Force of Will a Brainstorm. Oh no. I'll force this Thoughtseize. This is actually just really bad for me. They didn't daze. The card Brainstorm is still pretty rough on me here. But we have successfully gotten to a spot where if they don't have a land, this clue is going to go down with the Wrath. Okay, I can keep playing around Wasteland, or I can dare them to waste me. I have access to my mana extremely comfortably, so I will fetch basic planes here. Wrath of the Skies for 1. I think they would have dazed that Thoughtseize if they could. They might still have Brainstorm to save Tamio here. Force blue card, sure. Yeah, that's really good. Okay. I'm not going to be blocking, so I will attack. They pitched Kaito to that. Now Tamio's a concern. Wow. All right, Thoughtseize off the top. I'm suddenly losing. Just like that, it can come falling apart. I would feel fine if this was like Delver Secrets and Dragon's Rage Channeler. Like, I'm under pressure, but the Tamio being what it is. Okay. The Tamio being gone. We'll take that. Now I am less panicked than I was a moment ago. Still not blocking Nethergoyf, but that Tamio does have 2 more cards in the bank. If this game goes long, which it's going to, because my deck doesn't turn the corner quickly, all of these cards will just come back. Nethergoyf getting in. Jeez. Okay, deck. Something good. Oh my god. Well, it's falling apart, team. I made an honest run out of it, but 3 cards in a row were Force of Will, Thoughtseize, Tamio. Now that's 3 cards in the bank. I'm still not going to block if Flame of Anor shows up. That's good enough. Brainstorm. Yep, let's just do it. If we're doing it, let's do it. Just grind me into the ground from a mull to 5 because you drew 2 Tamios. It's crazy to me that anyone thinks that any card is defining Legacy right now other than Tamio. There's like the hot takes about Entomb or Planar Nexus or like whatever it is people are mad about. Tamio is the rule of engagement for Legacy right now. It's defining everything. All right, I still have lots of good hits in my deck. My opponent is Hellbent. It'll take some time to bank these clues. It'll take some time to get value out of Tamio. A Brainstorm, a Thundertrap Trainer, a Snapcaster, a Flame of Anor. Not a fucking Prismatic Vista. I hate it. I hate it so much. All right. Game is over. I'm going to go to 5. I just need this wizard to be in play. Just turns on so much of my deck. It also dissuades them from minusing Tamio. Like if they want to ponder or brainstorm this turn or Thoughtseize me or bank that Force of Will, I want it to cost them. Okay. They did bank the Force of Will, which threatens Tamio's life. All right, do you have the Bowmaster to save Tamio? That's what makes sense here. Wow, okay. Not interested in that. Okay, I am going to pass, and when they crack a clue in the end step, I'm gonna... Oh, is this Brazen Borrower? What's happening? I guess Brazen Borrower is more threatening than Nethergoyf, because Goyf I can at least block. Their hand is Force of Will, but no blue card necessarily. We're so close. Right, Nethergoyf attacking for 3. Oh my god, do you have Kaito? Off the top, Kaito? Yikes. Okay. Well, I'm dead next turn. There's very little I could do. I could draw a 4th Aerolingus, but if they find a blue card off this Surveil, that doesn't matter. Yeah, they want top bottom. I don't think I can win. Alright, that's certainly not it. That was a illuminating game. Obviously, they drew the best card they could on every single turn of the game from starting on turn 1. But also it was just like Tamiyo, the Tamiyo show once again. All right, here's my sideboard plan. All right, I'll keep Island Ponder, keep. Opponent's on 6. 5 didn't slow them down last game though. I'm not gonna be too excited about that. I don't want this land. I will put Spell Pierce in my hand now and Teferi under it. Alright, I like when they play Draw Go against me. This is probably fetching Basic Mountain. Sewer is tapped. Kept it. Basic Swamp. I'm going to fetch Mountain because there's a land on top of my deck right now. Now we have to think about Bowmaster forever. Plains, pass. Weird. I wonder if they clicked on the wrong card here. They went black-blue Brainstorm. I could play Teferi with Spell Pierce up next turn. Alright, sure. I wonder if there's an Orcish Bowmaster next to that Brainstorm in their hand, and they just clicked on the wrong thing. Okay, Prismatic Vista lets me keep playing on basics. I'll invest this Teferi. Teferi's very bad versus Orcish Bowmaster, but let's start testing the waters here. Basic Island. Yep, there's Bowmaster. Alright, I take a damage. Teferi resolves. Maybe. Another Dazing. Okay. Now I'll get an Island. I was going to get Plains and try to do 2 things this turn, but now I'll get Island. And plus Teferi. It being in play is still really good for me. Damage coming in on Teferi. They could Kaito here. That would do a lot of damage to Teferi. Yep, Kaito is definitely the best card against my deck that they have. I don't have 4 colors to Prismatic End that thing. Surveil 2. Discarded Daze and Hydroblast. Alright, deck, this is the turn where we draw Pyroblast. Yeah! Okay. We're free. Alright. I was ready to do some work to get that Pyroblast accessible, but turns out I didn't have to. And I'll pass the turn. I can Prismatic End as an instant. We're not in a hurry. Alright. End this prismatically. Another Bowmaster. Alright. Let's get these Brainstorms moving while we can. Tamiyo. Is Spell Pierce good anymore? Not really. I mean, they don't have a lot of mana, but it's creatures that I'm worried about. Alright, I'm going to put back Flooded Strand Rest down, and then I'm going to Brainstorm again. I don't like doing this, but I didn't find an answer to Bowmaster, and I'm trying to see as much as I can. And I don't need 2 Tamiyos. Okay, Bowmaster. Put 1 on Teferi. Sewer. And Tamiyo. Yep, there it is. A plus Teferi. Play Flooded Strand, play Tamiyo. Pass. I can keep Teferi alive with a block. I can use Dress Down to turn off Bowmaster to get a clue. Right, block Bowmaster. Teferi's down to 1. Clue broken. Land. The Spell Pierce is looking worse and worse every moment. Right, this Murktide is going to be 7. I think I have to dress this down. That makes me worse versus Bowmaster moving forward, but like this thing is huge. What am I going to do? Brainstorm. I'll use this while I can. Bowmaster's currently sleeping. Magus of the Moon, Swords of Plowshares. Alright. Something's happening. Put back Spell Pierce and Prismatic Vista. And then Murktide resolves. And then Dress Down goes away. Go to my turn. Fetch a Plains. Fetch Plains. Plus Teferi. Play this mighty 2/2 blocker. I have to deal with Murktide. And I will start making clues again. Alright, we're in. Tenuous, I would describe this game as. They do have access to their basics, but 3 of their mana is garbage now. They can't pressure Tamiyo or Teferi anymore. Their Tamiyo can draw cards willy-nilly, and mine's can't, though. Yeah, their red mana is very good for cracking clues. Ponder. This flips Tamiyo. That's now a problem to solve. 2 Pyroblasts, 1 Prismatic Ending, 2 Snapcasters in the deck that help with that. Plus Tamiyo. Currently Ponder in the graveyard, as far as cards. Ponder for me as well. I think I'm going to cast Ponder before I do anything else. If that finds removal for Bowmaster, then Tamiyo can go nuts here. Alright, Ponder, let's go. Find a white card. Oh no. Shuffle. Unlicensed Hearse is not the worst card. Oh, they don't want it to Fairy instead of to Magus. That's potentially exploitable. All right, I guess I draw another card here. Or I should attack first and then draw another card. Attack you. They will end up with a 3-power Orc army. Tamiyo can minus it to 2. All right. Crack a clue. This flips Tamiyo. We love drawing basic islands. Tamiyo flips, plus this. I don't think I'm going to play my land. Maybe I should. Right, unlicensed Hearse. And I think I am going to hold on to this island. Their deck can't play Murktide with Magus in play. That's just a thing. If they attack to Fairy, I can crack my clue basically for free. Well, they get to ping Tamiyo or whatever, but Teferi doesn't take any extra damage here, which is what I've been worried about all along. Okay, Snapcaster. I drew a real card. Is it too late? Yeah, putting 1 damage on Tamiyo is correct here. Not going to block. I value Magus of the Moon enough here. I think it's worth more than a Teferi. Brainstorm, yep. Plus Tamiyo. End step, I'm going to exile Ponder and Brainstorm from their graveyard. Okay, Force of Will's back on over there for the first time in a while. I could send with Snapcaster, and if they fend it off, activate Tamiyo to follow up. What does Snapcaster even target here, though? That's part of the challenge. All right, I'm going to play Tamiyo first and see if they want to Force of Will this. Okay, they do not. I'll play Island from hand, and I'm going to attack their Tamiyo with Magus. They could have Bowmaster here, but I think I have to be okay with that. Okay, so they have Bowmaster. It will cost them a Bowmaster to block here because the Orc army is busy doing something else. I deal 1 to Magus, and they are putting a Bowmaster in front of that. Okay, right now, I can Snapcaster while they only have red mana available. Okay, I'm going to cast Snapcaster. It would have to be Force of Will, and they do have it. Okay. That is okay. I can still... I mean, I'm in trouble. Don't get me wrong. But I can at least make this game not about Tamiyo. Delete my Tamiyo to delete your Tamiyo. I have to beat your 5/5, but I'm 1 removal spell away from stability. All right, can my deck beat a 5/5? Right, they jam their land into play. No bluffing over there. I'll block the 1/1. There's no trick here. I have a low-key large creature over here if I come up with 2 power to crew it, which is not trivial. All right, how about Thundertrap Trainer, Conqueso, go nuts. Flame of Inor. Okay, so this is not as good as it looks because they get to draw, or they get to ping when I draw. I can kill the Orc army, draw 2 cards. That flips Tamiyo. They get 2 Bowmaster pings and a new Orc army, but the Orc army is smaller. I could also kill Bowmaster, take my chances versus a 7/7 with 2 fresh rips. I think this game is better for me without Bowmaster in play. I'll be functionally at 1 here, but worth it. Let's see what I can do. All right, 5 damage to that. I draw 2 cards. Tamiyo flips. Bowmaster gets 2 pings, and Orc army becomes 7/7. We did it. Calculated risk. It's going to work out. Plus Tamiyo. Swords to Plowshares. I could have saved 2 life. Do I want to play this blocker instead? No, I want to kick that next turn. All right. I could have saved 2 life here, but this game's not going to be about life. Just didn't quite decide what I was playing towards until the things had already happened. All right. Pass. 8 is a lot of life. Thundertrap Trainer is a lot of looks. Even if they rip like Murktide or Kaito here, which are their best cards, the trainer gets to go crazy. All right, they had enough. Game 3. Nothing changes about my sideboard. Play draw, same stuff here. Okay, I like my hand. I'll keep it. Opponent kept 7. Their hand's gotten bigger every game this match. Okay, I could shove my Tamiyo and make them respond. I could shove Tamiyo next turn and threaten the Brainstorm trick. Yeah, I'm going to play Scalding Tarn because that could get Tundra. And then next turn I can go Prismatic Vista for basic island, play Tameo pass, and then I have some insulation versus Fatal Push. End step Brainstorm. Just jamming it off there. That's an interesting sequence because we know their deck has Undercity Sewers in it. So what are you looking for so desperately that you Brainstorm in the end step rather than just take your time with the Surveil land and then untap and cast Brainstorm with the Surveil land? Usually when a blue deck makes a sequence like that, they're looking for their second land because they have something for 2 mana that's important. Like if you just have your second land, if you just want your second land, it's better to Brainstorm on your own turn because you see more cards, especially with the Surveil land in between. But if you want to specifically cast like Orcish Bowmaster right now, then getting that second land on time was important. All right, suddenly Undercity Sewer's involved. Brainstorm. Is this just like an aggressive sequence to clear Brainstorm cards when they're desperate, or are they suddenly Reanimator? Because this is a Reanimator sequence, and I've played 2 long games against this opponent. If they suddenly have an Atraxa, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, Sewer Trigger. Kept the card. All right, they did all that to keep the card. They tapped blue and black mana and then untapped it and passed the turn. Basically all I want when I have a Tameo in play is my opponent to try to play draw go. Are we going to get a clue? What's going on? Okay, I have the Brainstorm and the Plow, so even a Bowmaster is not that bad here. If they have Bowmaster and Force of Will, it could get ugly. Okay, here we go. Chips are down. Plow Bowmaster. Cool, that happened. And now Tameo takes a completely irrelevant damage because she's about to become a Planeswalker anyway. I have the Re-Tameo. I have double Re-Tameo. I don't need double Re-Tameo. Put 1 Tameo away, and I think a Plains. Fatal Push fizzles, and I'm gonna fetch. I think I want to Ponder here, not play Tameo. Because I have this... Alright, Mountain Pyroblast. I like both of those. I'll bank the Mountain now, leave Pyroblast there. The scariest thing they can do to me this turn is Murktide or Kaito, and Pyroblast covers both. The second Bowmaster, this will put 2 damage on Tameo. They're gonna... When I play the other Tameo as a blocker this coming turn, they won't be putting any damage on my Tameo anymore. All right, you've got your own. All right, well, I'm gonna Pyroblast that. Not doing that. Plus Tameo. Mountain. Pyroblast your Tameo. They didn't have Force of Will last turn. I don't think they're going to suddenly have it now. All right, passing with Dress Down available in case that matters. Okay, the Bowmaster attack is an interesting one. Because if they have Kaito, I think I'd rather have a turn with Bowmaster out of play still. Like, I have to decide what they bounce here. And I could make them bounce their token, then it's gone forever, or bounce the Orc army. And if it's just a bluff attack because we both know they have Kaito in their deck, then I would rather Tameo take 0. Stunning my Tameo for 2 turns instead of doing anything else. Interesting. All right, another Tameo. Got a lot of those flying around here. There's Brainstorm. I am going to start with Ponder. Back to basics, not helpful. This is why I don't like this card in these matchups. Like, they have all their lands tapped and it's still not good. I'm going to shuffle this. I just randomly shuffled my deck back into back to basics. It heard me talking shit. All right, I'll Brainstorm now. Which will... Ah, shit. Fudge! That's going to flip this Tameo. I could have had a double minus bubble. Not ideal. Okay. Rally, rally. Okay, I'm going to put back... I think Flooded Strand, and like I might just back to basics them here anyway. That's so bad that their creatures are getting -1 instead of -2 next turn. I fucked that up real bad. Okay, my choices are ignore back to basics. I think I should just ignore back to basics. Yeah. All right, back to basics and Arid Mesa are gone. I'll take the new one begrudgingly. And I can't afford to fetch a Tundra here, so I'll get another island. And I'm going to end step Dress Down. I don't want to take a single ping from that Bowmaster on their turn. I don't want them making a clue with Tameo. And I want to plow Kaito as soon as we get to their turn. Upkeep, Plow, Kaito. It does not have hexproof because of Dress Down. Orcish Bowmaster, 1 unknown in their hand. Hope the 1 unknown isn't Daze. Okay. Tamio is going to take 2 damage this turn, or 3 damage this turn instead of 2, or instead of 1. Or no, the Bowmaster doesn't trigger. Tamio will take 1 damage this turn instead of 0. Yeah. Did you draw another Kaito? That's the reason to attack with this Tamio. Wow, that sucks. Well, that's devastating. I just used my whole hand to deal with that card. Right, it still can't use its abilities because it's a creature. And that means they would need a land to play the Bowmaster. Right, Thoughtseize. I would take Brainstorm here, but they took Tamio. Okay. I'm excited I get to keep my Brainstorm. Flame of Anor. Brainstorm. Lots of flames. All right, I'm going to put back Vista and Flame. And I think I'm going to use 1 flame to draw cards right now. While this Bowmaster is not available. This gets me the Vista and the Flame to move forward with. I can Swords to Plowshares, the Orc Army, or the Bowmaster. But this second Tamio is a problem. Or Kaito. So many Planeswalkers. Alright, well, that's a problem too. I guess I'm just going to plow the Orc Army then. Anything to remove some damage. Yeah, now I'm going to get run over by Kaito unless I find Pyroblast immediately. Their hand is Bowmaster Tamio right now, so their hand is also just 2 phenomenal cards. Even, well, I'm behind on board. I'm losing to their hand. They're holding up Bowmaster. I drew Prismatic Vista. I think this game is over, but I will pass my turn. Yeah, Tamio is level 1, Kaito is level 2 of this matchup, and most other cards barely matter. I mean, Bowmaster is the thing you have to make sure you don't get smoked by, just by playing sloppy, but these are the things that actually matter. And Thoughtseize is a dimension that their deck has that my deck doesn't. In these tight spots, like here, if I still had Flame of Anor in my hand, I'd feel pretty okay. But alas, I don't. Tamio's going to flip here. They cracked their clue. Kaito drew a card. Now I need 2 Pyroblast to be competitive, and I still have to beat the Bowmaster, plus the 3 unknown cards in their hand. Alright, well, this is going to get Bowmastered, but I have to cast it. Yep. Oh my god. So I could take Pyroblast, clear the Kaito, fetch down to 9. Their Tamio can just buy back some spell here. Well, Kaito is killing me the fastest and keeping their hand full. I'm going to fetch. I take 3 down to 6, fetch down to 5, and then I need to draw a card that stabilizes Bowmaster this turn, and then draw another card that stabilizes Tamio the turn after that, and the 4 cards in their hand have to be blank, and they can't minus Tamio to just get immediate value off of like a Brainstorm or Hydroblast. There's a Brainstorm from them. Ha! Got him. Right, 2 cards left in hand over there. Their clock just went under 5 minutes, but it won't take 5 minutes to attack 3 times with this Bowmaster. They're still plussing the Tamio. I'm going to fetch a Plains here. And there are still some potentially useful draws in my deck. That's not one of them. Alright, you win. The double Kaito got me. I spent all of my life dealing with the first Kaito, and then they just had another one immediately on the same turn. The Tamio is doing stuff too. Bowmaster did have a presence in that game, but it was really Kaito that slammed the door closed. On to the next one. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in round 4. I am actually going to keep this. It is, of course, risky. It only has 1 land. But it does have the Tamio, put my opponent to the test. It has the Brainstorm, which flips the Tamio. And if they deal with the Tamiyo, I could still cast Brainstorm to find my next land. Basic Island, those are not good at answering Tamiyos. I can't explain myself right now, but this teething wormlet avatar makes me think they're on show and tell. Is that normal? Okay, I can at least play around days here, so I will. Brainstorm, send it. Found the Re-Tamiyo. I'm going to put back Wrath and Prismatic Ending here. I did not find a Force of Will. We'll see if I get punished for that. I'm currently hoping that my insane read is wrong. Ghost Vacuum. Slurp, slurp. Okay, well, my Tamiyo is going straight to the roof. There won't be any minusing on Brainstorms for value here. Oh, okay. Good news, everybody. It's breakfast combo. Alright, Prismatic Ending is here. I guess I just send it. I don't beat Force of Will either way. I could at least play around days. Alright, Prismatic End this Nomad. And if I resolve Flame of Enor, that... I guess I can destroy an artifact here. But going for Flame of Enor and draw mode flips Tamiyo, which I don't want to do. Alright, bank to Force of Will. We found one! Fellas, we got him. Okay, attacking here. The card Nadu is, of course, a card they could have. Right now, they need to get two pieces together, though. Slurping up my Prismatic Ending. Green fetch land sighted. Nadu on notice. Oh, I'm going to Force of Will it. Pitching Flame of Enor. If they force back, then they get Nadu, but then I could Flame Nadu and Ghost Vacuum on my turn. Alright, plus Tamiyo. Attack with my creatures. And pass. On their turn, I can draw cards with Flame of Enor, because I won't have drawn a card for turn yet. So here they gotta come up with Nomad and target for Nomad. Brainstorm. Nadu is now off the table. Like, they could cast the card Nadu, but I don't care. They need Breakfast, or Nomad and Illusionist right now. There's half the battle. Alright, do they have Force Blue card? Because they're almost here. Right, Flame of Enor. Target player draws 2, deal 5, or I don't need to draw 2. I'm gonna draw half my deck if this works, so... what's happening? Destroy target artifact, deal 5 to a creature. That's what I want to do. Artifact, creature. Alright, if they have Force of Will, they win. Sick. That works too. Played around days as long as I could. They sent it 3 times this game, using every card in their hand. Alright, I'm gonna play like the Dread Returns in their hand. That's all I can do. And get a gander at their deck in the meantime. Thassa's Oracle is not in their hand. I know Flame of Enor can target a player. Like, I could have let them dump their deck and try to force them to draw 2. But that's functionally the same as killing the Nomad, untapping and drawing half my deck. Like, I think the game goes the same way either way there, but more could go wrong if I let them start flipping. Okay, the Dread Return is present. It's all there. What's it like to have 2 copies of all your most important cards in the top 7 cards of your deck? Because I am struggling to find any useful cards anywhere in my deck. Okay, I will take Back to Basics here. Their mana is pretty bad in their deck. I actually don't want Grafdigger's Cage because I think that my Snapcaster Mage is more important than their Graveyard combo. Dress Down's very good. Spell Pierce is medium fine. I can go -1 force. I don't want to be super low on forces. Actually, I don't need Back to Basics and Magus. Which one am I more worried about? Back to Basics is blue for my forces, which I also just caught one of. There are Swords of Plowshares deck, so I think Back to Basics is more useful in a variety of ways than Blood Moon is. Though Blood Moon means that if Nadu starts flipping, everything they flip is a mountain, rather than an untapped land that can continue playing. This deck honestly feels like if you custom built a deck to beat Nadu Breakfast, this is what you would end up with. It's tough if we don't come away with this matchup. If we don't win this matchup, then there is no reason to play this deck in the metagame at all. Do I need 4th Aerolingus against this deck? You do theoretically have to win somehow, but if I stop them from doing anything, and if I draw half my deck and then have to beat them to death with Thundertrap Trainer, that actually might not be enough. I think I'm going to shave another Force of Will here. I kind of want this Spell Pierce back, but all their important cards are creatures. Alright, this is what I'm doing. Let's try it out. I'll keep this hand. I have my one piece of graveyard hate that I left in the deck. My only removal is the Mighty Teferi. They've got Flooded Strand, Tamiyo. And are we here? Am I forcing this? Is this what my life has come to? I don't think so. I'm going to play Tundra and fetch Island. And I'll get Unlicensed Hearse involved. They probably don't care about this very much right now. But let's develop it. Ponder, that's one draw this turn. They'll need another Ponder to draw another card. They won't have 2 mana to Clue. Tamiyo going in. Basic Island. Well, they did have 2 Ponders. This is my nightmare. Alright, I think I have to just rely on the... With the Unlicensed Hearse, the value isn't online, so I'll just have to rely on my Prismatic Endings and Pyroblast to not get soloed by this thing. Exile 2 Ponders from the graveyard. Flame of an Ore. Alright, I'm gonna Brainstorm. Back to basics, huh? Swords to Plowshare is a little late to this party. None of these cards answer the Tamiyo. Yeah, I don't think I can deploy this back to basics. So I'm going to put back to basics and Plateau back in my deck and shuffle. Alright, Tamiyo's on 6. I get 2 more turns this game. Edge Maze. Dumping Windswept Teeth. Cracking a Clue. And I'll exile some lands from the graveyard. If I draw a 2-power creature, then I could get a big hit in on Tamiyo. I don't play a lot of those. Okay, land to Fairy. They have to Force of Will. I have the land for days. They do have Force of Will. I don't believe Teferi's worth more than Flame of an Ore here. Maybe it is. Alright, I guess with the Plow in my hand, I do really need my action to work. Alright, I'm going to minus Teferi and just draw a card. Snapcaster Mage. That is a 2-power creature. Okay. We have a plan. Oh shit, Plateau and Tundra are both in play. I can't fetch a white source here. I might just die. Oh, yeah. Wow. That's awkward. That could have been played around. Yeah, I can't Plow here. If they go Nomad Nadu, I lose. Okay. They don't have Nomad Nadu. Not on this mana they're showing. And Unlicensed Hearse. Good chance this will get the job done versus Tamiyo. Alright, you've got your own Nadu. That's just going to have to be fine. Yeah, that was really awkward. I didn't even think about that. Okay. Go to my turn. Draw. I'm going to Swords to Plowshares Nadu, because that has to happen. And hope they don't flip Dryad Arbor. Brainstorm entered their hand. Plus Teferi. I just snap Brainstorm here. Okay, I want to leave white mana available. I'll fetch Island, and I'll go Snapcaster, cast Brainstorm, Brainstorm, put back Island, Plow, have access to a Plow, Crew Unlicensed Hearse. Okay, take some pressure off of Tamiyo, but this does tap me out of Unlicensed Hearse for the turn. But I do have Plow up and Teferi to protect. Well, this is a stressful game. We're almost out of it, though. Dress Down will beat this Urza Saga by itself. I can probably clear Tamiyo next turn. They could take this opportunity to Brainstorm minus Tamiyo, buy back Brainstorm, just cash in while there's anything to cash. Unlicensed Hearse and Constructs work the same way, which is important to keep in mind. Like, I can't animate Hearse, attack Tamiyo, they make a blocker, I dress down, get through the blocker, because that would also kill my Hearse. Top card of my deck is Plow, and I think I do want that. Prismatic Ending my Hearse. That does change the texture of the game. Now Tamiyo is back to being a game breaker. Tamiyo's on 5, I can attack her down to 4. She does net 1 loyalty each turn. Okay, I'm drawing Swords to Plowshares. I'm attacking Tamiyo for 1. My hand is really good against their deck, if we can keep Tamiyo off my ass. Tamiyo could also just buy back Prismatic Ending next turn, remove Teferi. Attack Tamiyo. Teferi's almost at the point that he can minus bounce Snapcaster, and then it's just worth like 5 cards. Right, just in case there's a Pithing Needle involved, I'll fetch basic planes here. I don't think that's going to happen, but go nuts. Shuko tutored. Cavern of Souls. Tamio up to 6. 3-2. I think I just have to pass here and work through the sagas all at once. Plus Teferi, my own Tamio. It's kind of interesting. Might as well put it into play, I suppose. Their Tamio goes to critical mass this turn. I really have to figure this out sooner than later. I just don't think I can afford to use Dress Down to push damage there. Hey, do they have a second thing to tutor for? And they tap their Cavern to do this, which means they're not casting a Wizard this turn. Ghost Vacuum's solid. That makes Snapcaster kind of bad. Okay, Dress Down right now. Wipe out all their shit. Alright, come on, Pyroblast. Flame of Anor. That's some redraws. It can also clear the Ghost Vacuum. It flips my Tamio, in case that matters. Brainstorm. Dress Down dies. Come on, Pyroblast. Thundertrap Trainer. That's a lot of looks at Pyroblast. Okay, I'm gonna cast Trainer first. No Offspring. Big Digs. Back to Basics, Wrath of the Skies. Unhelpful. I guess I'll take Back to Basics in case this game lasts 2 turns. Bounce Thundertrap Trainer. Ponder. My Ponder will flip Tamio. Do I want a clue before we move in on that? I guess so. Okay, attack Tamio with both creatures. This only matters if I miss, like them having half their deck but no Tamio versus half their deck and Tamio on 1 is at least something. All right, Ponder, please. My family is starving. Oh my god, the last card. Pyroblast in my hand. Do not shuffle. Flip Tamio. Plus Tamio. Pyroblast your Tamio. I think I want to do it on their turn. With Teferi, they can't do anything. And if they have a Meticulous Archive in their deck, if they fetch here, I don't want them to think they're about to draw half their deck. Ghost Vacuum sucks up Force of Will. Fetch. Meticulous Archive. They dump Nomad. Alright, now I will kill Tamio. Alright. Took the pressure off at the last possible second. Always drama here with the Jeskai control deck. Bromads. I hope they don't have double Nomad. Plow the Nomads. 1 card left in hand. Oh, they have fucking Shuko. No, that, I mean, oh my god. Well, with Teferi and removal and Wrath of the Skies, like they tapped that white and then backed off it. Right, now they have their own Teferi if they have another land. All right, they had the Nomad anyway, so Nadu was actually the important card here. They have 3 more flips. If they hit a land, they can dump their life here. Insane. Okay! Why are we working this hard in Legacy when every deck can just win on the press of a button? All right, Force of Negation in hand. Oh, they do usually remove some amount of their combo in fair matchups. Like, it's possible they don't have a Dread Return and they're using Cephal Illusionist to, like, there's like 2 of these in the deck to dump their deck after they draw Thassa's Oracle with Nadu. Like, I just have to hope that the combo is not part of the deck right now. Okay, they're milling cards. If the combo's in the deck, they win. It's that simple. Okay, they stop targeting, so they don't actually have the combo. Cool. I don't think they would be playing that scared of Surgical Extraction, so I just don't think they have the combo in their deck. Okay, I have Teferi, you don't. What do we do? Flame of Anor can kill Nadu and Ghost Vacuum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I kill Nadu and Ghost Vacuum, because they have their own Teferi, is part of my problem here. All right, red, blue, white, flame, 5 to Nadu, destroy Ghost Vacuum. They get a flip off of this. I would just really like that Pyroblast from my graveyard in my hand. They're doing their flips in response. That makes sense. Do it while you can. A bunch of forces over there. Teferi holding the line. To draw the card off Illusionist, they also have to mill 3. Memory's Journey and Narcomoeba both just revealed. They do have some amount of combo still in the deck. Were they just afraid of Surgical last turn? Wow, the combo is completely in the deck. Like, is Oracle in your hand? Why'd we stop? I love that they mill 3'd, flip Narcomoeba into their hand, build 3, flip Narcomoeba into their hand. So both Narcomoebas just showed up. A Pyroblast, back to the grip. That was the card I wanted, but they know that. If I go back to basics right now, that might actually win the game. As Dread returns in the graveyard, oh, the Thassa's Oracle is still unaccounted for. Yeah, I think I'm 1 mana short of trying to back to basics my opponent. I'm going to plow Illusionist and see where they end up. Because this is a mill 3, like it or not. Thassa's Oracle not revealed off of that. Okay, they're dumping their own deck in response, so they must have Thassa's Oracle in hand. Yikes. I think I'm dead here. Tamiyo could buy back Ponder for some miracle, but knowing that they have 3 cards in their... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I actually know all 8 cards in their hand, but with 3 cards left, Ponder is guaranteed to find Thassa's Oracle with 2 cards left in the deck. And Teferi makes it unstoppable. Do I have anything left that can win this game? I don't think I do. I think Tamiyo has to buy back Ponder and just hope to hit something, but what am I even looking for? Alright, yeah. I'll get back Ponder and then probably just concede. Yeah, the Memory's Journey's there, but they can't upkeep it. Alright, Ponder, I guess. Flame of Venor, Island Thundertrap Trainer. Those are not the cards I want. I can cast Brainstorm here. I have to find 2 forces. I did not find 2 forces. I didn't even find 1. Okay, I'm dead. What a battle. Yeah, you cast your Teferi. Now, Fairy Macabre's the only thing that can go wrong here. And a blue deck shouldn't really have that card. Yeah, Nomad can kill my Teferi. And now this handful of forces is online. Yeah, Fetch actually had a final target. 2 cards in the deck, one of them was a fetchable land. And they drew Thassa's Oracle for turn. Yeah. Slugged right through everything I was going to do. Okay, so I said during sideboarding, if this match isn't one we can take, why are we playing this deck at all in the format? And when I give feedback like this, it's never to disparage the submitter of the deck. I hope everybody's having fun who chooses to play this, but holy crap. We've played against what I perceive to be 3 good matchups in a row, and we're 1 and 2 against them. And it's just like, in a format dominated by a 1-drop that can take over the game by itself, that can easily slot into multiple combo decks, why are we working this hard? Why are there 3 drops in the deck at all? 4th Aerolingus? Have you read Barrogoyf? Why aren't we doing that? It's like, even the matchups you're supposed to be good against, you're not actually that good against, because all of those decks are just so much better than a deck like this in the metagame right now. And one of my theories that I've talked about on the Eternal Glory podcast is, when we talk about how we balance Legacy, how can we get Legacy back to feeling like it's interactive and it's not about a giant fight on turn 2 and whoever slightly ahead on turn 2 wins the game? How do we get back to that? Something I've talked about is that white removal, like Prismatic Ending, is actually pretty good versus Tamiyo because you could get it on the front or the back. Pyroblast, a card that is largely pushed out of the format right now because of the existence of Archon of Cruelty and Barrogoyf, is good against Tamiyo on the front or the back. Well, guess what, folks? I'm playing 5 copies of Prismatic Ending and Pyroblast, plus 2 Snapcasters to recard them, and 4 of my own Tamiyos, and I've still lost 3 rounds in a row to my opponent's Tamiyo. I think my deck is respecting the existence of Tamiyo more, but their decks are just combo decks, so they're naturally going to leave in their forces and dazes and stuff to protect their Cephalid Breakfast or their Reanimator or whatever it is they're protecting, where I am trying to get value Tamiyo. Like, I'm using my Tamiyo to try to reback Pyroblast to deal with their Tamiyo, and they're just going straight to 8 and winning the game, and force of willing my Pyroblast along the way. This deck looks so good on paper. It looks beautiful. It's chock full of cards that I love to play, and I feel like I'm running uphill through mud to try to play this deck right now in this league. It's really tough. We got one more round to play. Let's shake it off and try to end this on a positive note. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in the final round. Gonna have to mulligan this no-lander. Opponent's also on 6 so far. Okay, all in on Magus of the Moon. I think I'm gonna keep this and bottom the mountain. Between Brainstorm and Ponder, I imagine lane number 3 isn't the hardest thing to come up with. Opponent's down to 5 so far. If I just get clowned on turn 1, it is what it is. Opponent's on 5. Show me the Balustrade Spy. Swamp. Okay, it's not Balustrade Spy. It could be Entomb. Magus of the Moon already looks bad. Duress. Okay, they're definitely a combo deck. Even Reanimator isn't in on Duress just yet. The dirty thing about taking Ponder or Brainstorm is that that's a blue card, where even if I Ponder or Brainstorm into a Force, the blue card's gone. Prismatic Ending's the take. Fascinating. Oh, because they want to develop Gromox. Sure. What's going on over there? 1 card left in hand. Pitched Infernal Tutor to get this far. I'm a little bit scared, not gonna lie. I'm gonna cast Ponder. Just finding a Force here would be everything. Brainstorm, Thunder Trap, Island. I think I am going to keep this. Just showing strength in this position. Like, if I shuffle, I might hit Force, but I'm more likely not to. And they're going to know that I didn't find Force off my Ponder. I don't know if a person with 1 card in their hand can afford to wait. They drew the land. If they cast Necrodominance here, I'm going to be so bummed. Okay, it's not Necrodominance. What is it? It can't be Beseech the Mirror. All right, Infernal Tutor. Starting the chain. Working their way through it. Like, they've seen the Magus of the Moon, so grabbing like Urza Saga and trying to pivot onto that isn't good enough. If this was Necrodominance, that would be extremely good. Okay, I'm gonna go fetch Tundra or fetch Volk. I think I want Tundra. I'm gonna fetch Tundra, then go Tamiyo Brainstorm. Though it's more looks at Force of Will if I play Thunder Trap Trainer. If I'm looking for specifically Force of Will. But Tamiyo buying back Prismatic Ending is a big deal next turn. Alright, looks like I'm a little bit behind here. Swords to Plowshares, Prismatic Ending, go on top. Plus Tamiyo. Whatever they've got here is going to happen. Saga, okay. That was one of the cards I identified as something they might grab in this situation. Oh my god, did you draw Beseech? Oh, Thoughtseize. Okay, they set up the Magus of the Moon. That was pretty smart. They set up the... Well, they didn't set up both of these. They drew either the Saga or the Thoughtseize. I'm pretty sure they drew Thoughtseize here, which is going to turn out to be perfect because it deals with the Magus, which would almost put them out of the game here. Though I also have to lock myself if I'm Magus. So what actually are they worried about? Okay, they are worried about Magus. Okay, this turn I'm going to end their Mox. I can just fetch non-basics now. The Magus is gone. I'm going to get Volcanic Island. Play Thunder Trap Trainer. Prismatic End. The Mox, probably. The full miss. We're having a good day. Good outing today. Strong show. Okay, so they have perfect info. They don't have an artifact anymore. So they can't cast a double black spell right now. They can start constructing. Okay, passed with a spell. Alright, I found Force of Will. That's good. If I plus Tamiyo, they go Construct, they're 2/2s, Tutor, they're 3/3s. I can block. If they have Lava Spur Boots, attack, then Tamiyo takes 2. I think this is worth the risk of just winning immediately. If there's a Pithing Needle in the deck, that's kind of annoying. Constructs in. So they would need a mana source to go with the Lava Spur Boots, if that's even a thing that they have at all. Would a Storm deck have room for Pithing Needle in the main? Depends on how fleshed out this Saga package is. That's kind of the whole game right now. Okay, they're not making a second construct. They're pivoting onto doing something else now. Mox Opal, which does not tap for mana. It's go time. Whatever they got, here it is. I'm just going to force this because it turns on the Mox Opal, it makes the construct bigger, and it's just freaking Demonic Tutor. Right now, this turn is what I need to survive, and okay. I'm going to draw half my deck and hope it wins. This is my first opponent whose deck did not contain their own Tamiyos, and I'm just running away with Tamiyo as a result. They went top on the candy trail. Right, Opal's on, but I really hope it doesn't matter. They're attacking me. Okay, so they're trying to reduce how much storm they need to kill me, because they figure they can't mess with Tameo anyway. I'd rather have Thundertrap Trainer in play. Deal. Flame of Enor, getting double mode here. Pretty big deal. I think that attack was incorrect, but you're the boss. Right, activate Tameo. Here are half the cards in my deck. Feels good to be the one doing this. I've never felt this way before. Okay, so I could go Teferi, Bounce Construct, be totally stable. How many Force of Wills do I have? There's one, there's a Spell Pierce, there's a Minor Misstep. There's 3 counter spells in my hand. I did hit a Flame of Enor. I can just take out Construct and Opal here, and also leave up counter. The Plateau is still in my deck. I don't think that's important to me. Oh, I have Wrath of the Skies in my hand. That kills their whole board and nothing of mine. Alright, yeah, I'm going to fetch Plateau here. They asked if I need the rest of the game for content. No, I do not. Anyone who plays against me at any time is allowed to concede whenever they want. Alright, X equals 1. I don't want to bake the extra energy. Okay, cool. So I showed them that my deck has Wrath of the Skies in it. There's some sort of Black Saga combo deck. Consigned to Memory, Force of Negation look good here. This deck sometimes is an Echo of Eons Bowmaster thing and is sometimes a Beseech thing. Either way, Grafdigger's Cage has text. Pyroblast only works in one of those environments, though. I could go 0 Plows. I don't really want Magus in this matchup either. I have a bunch of answers to Saga stuff. I have the Dress Downs, I have the Prismatic Endings, the Wrath of the Skies. Teferi can bounce the Saga. Stony Silence is very good here. Without knowing more about their deck, if I was sure they were the Bowmaster Echo version, Pyroblast and Swords to Plowshares would both be things I'm interested in, but I don't know that, so I'm not interested in those things. We saw Duress and Thoughtseize at minimum for Minor Misstep, and Candy Trail. You can counter Candy Trail with that. Stony Silence turns off Unlicensed Hearse, and Hearse doesn't stop Echo from happening anyway. It's kind of good versus Beseech lines for Gaia's Will. Teferi turns off Beseech completely. The card just doesn't work with Teferi in play. I mean, they can Diabolic Tutor, but they can't cast it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. Though Grafdigger's Cage turning off my Snapcasters, once again, that anti-synergy pretty serious. I guess if I'm boarding in a Graveyard Hate piece and boarding out a different Graveyard Hate piece, I'm gonna leave in the one that doesn't mess up my own deck. Okay, I'm gonna go like this. If they turn out to be a Turbo Echo of Eon's LED strategy, I have game 3 I can sideboard a ton of stuff in. Alright, I'm keeping my hand. If they go on turn 1, they got me. But my hand's pretty good if it gets a turn. Alright, opponent's on 5. Am I dead? The vault. My thoughts. I suspect Consigned to Memory will go here, but they did take Prismatic Ending last game. If they're just going to Echo here, it doesn't matter what they take. And Chromox is just so much worse when you're on 5 cards instead of 7. That cost is so high. They took my Thundertrap Trainer. That is a person who's either playing an extremely long game, or they just don't care about Consigned to Memory with the line they've set up. And maybe they have Duress, which couldn't take the Trainer, but can take Consign this turn. Yeah, that makes sense. Story checks out. They let on Thoughtseize just in case that gets anything, and then they saw a line where they can Duress something. Wow. Still going after the 3 drops, going after that longer game. And I am now flush with Flame of Enors. If I draw a blue or red land next turn, I can just Stone Rain their Vault of Whispers that they're playing this game on. I'm not countering that. Another Duress. Alright. They know about the Prismatic Ending and just hung this Mox Opal out here, so they're either ready to go for it, or they're going to take Prismatic Ending, or that was just bait to see if I would counter it. Come on, land. Oh, you don't say. All right, well, I'll take out the Mox Opal. It's currently not doing anything, but that can change quickly. God, I hope they don't have Cabal Therapy in their deck. All right, was that Mox Opal a trap, and they're going to do something like resolve a Wishclaw Talisman this turn? Thoughtseize. Enjoy. All right, come on, land. Oh my God. All right, not a land, is a wizard. This does force me to commit to blue, and now instead of a land, I need specifically a red land, which is the least popular one. All right, can they turn the corner here? Not yet. Tamiyo, get in. I am going to crack this clue immediately. And Dark Ritual Bowmaster could be a thing, but that doesn't kill Tamiyo. If I hit Ponder or Brainstorm, I go to Planeswalker mode. Nice. Okay, I'm actually going to play Island here. I don't want them to know that Flame of Venor is online. I don't know if that matters, but it is something I can hide. All right, Duress. I've been Thoughtseized 5 times this game. Opponent has so far been unable to capitalize. That mull to 5, extremely disruptive, but I'm out here grinding, doing the work. Okay, I'm going to destroy your land and flip Tamiyo. I think I want Volcanic Island. There's some double white stuff. Draw 2, destroy an artifact. Tamiyo flips, plus Ponder, looking for a force. Found a Consign underneath a Brainstorm. I will keep this stack and pass. I left the Consign on top because they have been Thoughtseized 5 times this game. Okay. It's not over yet. Plus Tamiyo. Play Island and pass. My plan is to just draw 3 cards in their end step if nothing else happens. It's got to turn the corner somehow. Target player draws 2. I could even, for the goofs, destroy my own clue and in response crack it. I'm not that goofy, though. And I'm going to Brainstorm first. Still, Force of Will challenge, level impossible. Or fetch, get Tundra. I'll Brainstorm again here. All right, there's a Force and a Spell Pierce. Now I feel like it'll be difficult to lose. Okay, the shields are all the way up. And Tamiyo's about to do her thing. 6 cards in hand. It could be banking Lotus Petals and Dark Rituals and just make a stand here. I don't think that's my fight. I will Spell Pierce this. Lotus Petal, the best it can do is cast a different card that can be Spell Pierced, so piercing the petal is jumping the gun. The Dark Ritual could unlock whole chains of things that I'm not interested in discovering. Okay, we did it. We beat up a Storm player who multiplied twice and never did anything. Okay. This was a tough outing. There were, of course, a couple spots where I did not fully optimize. Like, I am not dialed in on all of the sequencing of blue-white control right now in this format, and in 1 or 2 of the early games, there were spots where I could have seen 1 more card before I died, and 1 more card is frequently all that matters. Like, we spent this whole league basically like, come on, Pyroblast, come on, Prismatic Ending, come on, Force of Will, come on, Swords to Plowshares, which is honestly very much the blue-white experience. It just seems to me like this deck is doing so many cool things that kick in somewhere between 2 and 6 mana. And the things you're doing for 1 mana just are less good than everything else that's being done in the format for 1 mana. There's also no eject button here, which came up versus Reanimator, where it's like, we nickel and dime, we fend off their Tamiyo, we survive into the mid game, and then boop bop, Entomb Reanimate. Oops. And that Nadu opponent as well. I feel like in every situation of every game that was played in this league, if I took a calculated risk where it's like, they're drawing random next turn, they have 2 cards in hand, their hand would have to be exactly Kaito Force blue card for me to get punished here, then their hand just was Kaito Force blue card, or their hand has to be double Nomad plus Nadu here to die, and guess what? It was double Nomad plus Nadu. And then even that's fine, as long as they don't hit 2 lands and Cephalid Illusionist off of 4 hits, and then 2 lands Cephalid Illusionist off 4 hits. And it just, that is part of Magic. I'm not saying, I don't say all that to say I got unlucky and I should have won. Like, that's stupid mentality, and if you think that way, then you're playing the wrong game. What I'm saying is, there will be calculated risks throughout Magic all the time. Like, you frequently can't cover everything. And sometimes in spots where you could cover everything, it's not even necessarily right to do that if it's at the cost of your own development. But what I am saying is that this deck, if your opponent takes a calculated risk and misses, what are you going to do? Like, flip Tamiyo? Resolve a Thundertrap Trainer? Meanwhile, so many decks in the format, if I take a risk and miss, you reanimate Atraxa, or you have Nadu Nomad going, or you resolve the One Ring, or Mystic Forge, and I'm dead, or whatever. There's just so many massive game-ending, game-breaking things that happen around turn 2 in this format that playing a deck that is genuinely interested in Offspringing Thundertrap Trainer feels like just signing up for a chore to begin with. Also, 100% of the games in this league were decided by Tamiyo. The games I won, the games I lost, Tamiyo was involved in all of them. I played against 4 Tamiyo decks, which is about right. This is the best thing to do in the format. If you're not playing Tamiyo, I'm not sure what you're doing. And this could be a play pattern issue where there were a number of times where I could have forced Tamiyo, but I tried to let my deck with Swords of Plowshares, Prismatic Ending, Flame of Anor, and Pyroblast handle Tamiyo once it was resolved. But then suddenly Tamiyo's about to ultimate, and it's like, shit, how'd we get here? Am I just supposed to force this thing on the front and not even deal with it? It kind of feels like Chalice of the Void. That's a common thing in when I play these blue-white decks. I let Chalices resolve all the time, and people in the comments always freak out. It's like, if you should have forced that Chalice. But a deck like this has so many answers to a resolved permanent that it's usually right to save your Force of Will for something you can't answer easily with other cards in your deck. The difference between Tamiyo and Chalice of the Void, though, is 3 turns later, you're dead. Where Chalice of the Void, 3 turns later, the game may have grinded to a halt because they're out of threats and you are waiting to break out of the Chalice somehow, and then there's interesting tension that way. But Tamiyo's just like plus, 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 minus, game. And maybe that's just something I need to adjust. If I'm going to be playing these ultra fair decks in a Tamiyo metagame, I should treat Tamiyo like it's the One Ring. Like I wouldn't let the One Ring resolve. Should I be thinking about Tamiyo at that level? And maybe the answer is yes, as miserable as that is to come face to face with. Okay, I'm going to leave this here before I write a manifesto about Tamiyo. Your boy Chano, thanks for sharing this with me. I hope you're having fun and winning matches with this. This feels like a lot of work that a lot of other decks are working way less hard for much easier wins. I love Blue-White X and Jeskai control, Bant control. I hope they're back one day. Right now, it's tough. It's tough out there. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon to support the channel. I'll see you next time.